There comes a moment in every life, when the noise fades, and all that's left, is you. The world keeps moving, fast, relentless, demanding. We chase, we strive, we carry the weight of expectations. Until one day, the questions become louder than the answers. Who am I, really? Why am I here? Is this all there is? You feel it, don't you? That quiet pull beneath the surface. The space between thoughts. The pause between heartbeats. Something deeper calling you home. But in a world that never stops, we are taught to drown out the silence. To fill the void with distractions, with obligations, with endless noise. Yet the greatest truths are not found in the chaos. They are found in the stillness. This is the journey few take, the path inward. The search for meaning beyond the illusions we were given. The battle within ourselves, silent, unseen, but more real than anything outside. And if you listen, truly listen, you might just hear it. The first step is awakening. We are born into a world that tells us who we are, before we ever get a chance to decide. Before we take our first breath, we are given a name, a role, a story. Expectations are placed upon us like unseen chains, shaping the way we walk, the way we speak, the way we think. Be strong. Be smart. Be successful. Follow the path laid before you. Don't question it. Don't stray too far. And so we listen. We conform. We learn to wear the masks they hand us, masks of obedience, of ambition, of certainty. We become what the world demands, not realizing that with every layer we add, we drift further from what we truly are. Look around. The streets are full of people, moving, rushing, chasing something they can't even name. Suits and ties. Deadlines and expectations. Smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. This is the illusion. A world of roles, not of souls. We play our part well, until one day, the cracks begin to show. The job, the titles, the achievements, they were supposed to mean something. But deep down, a whisper remains. A knowing. A longing. Because behind every mask, there is a face unseen. And behind that face, something even deeper. They call it the false self, the version of you that was built by the world. The part of you that seeks approval, that fears rejection, that clings to identity like a shield. But there is another self, one that existed before the world told you who to be. The true self. The part of you that is not defined by labels, by status, by anything external. This self does not chase, it simply is. It does not seek, because it already knows. But to return to that self, you must first let go of everything you were told to be. The masks. The expectations. The stories that were never yours to carry. Most will never take that step. The illusion is comfortable. The false self is safe. But you are here. You are listening. And that means something. So ask yourself. Are you ready to remember who you were, before the world told you who to be? At some point, the weight becomes too heavy. You carry it well for years, on your shoulders, in your mind, behind your smile. The expectations, the disappointments, the quiet fears you never speak aloud. You tell yourself it's nothing. That you're fine. That you just need to push through. But one day, the silence grows too loud. You feel it late at night, when the world has gone quiet. When there's no one left to distract you from yourself. You stare at the ceiling, the clock ticking, the weight pressing down on your chest. A thought creeps in, soft at first, then undeniable. Is this all there is? You look in the mirror, searching for something familiar. But the reflection stares back like a stranger. The years have carved themselves into you, choices made, roads taken, others abandoned. And suddenly, you realize, you don't remember who you were before all of this. This is the breaking point. The moment when the weight can no longer be carried. The moment when something inside of you cracks, and the truth spills out. And the truth is this: you are lost. But maybe being lost was always part of the journey. Because pain, as cruel as it seems, is not the end. It is the beginning. The fire that burns away the illusion, the storm that washes the path clean. We are taught to resist it, to fight it, to pretend we are stronger than the pain. But true strength, true power, comes from surrender. Not surrender to defeat, but to truth. To let go of who you thought you had to be, so you can finally become who you were meant to be. This is where transformation begins. Not in the moments of ease, but in the breaking, in the unraveling, in the space where everything falls apart, so that something new can emerge. And so, you stand at the edge, looking down at everything you've held onto, everything you feared to lose. And the question remains. Are you ready to let go? Stillness is not emptiness. It is where truth begins. For most of our lives, we run. Not with our feet, but with our minds. Thoughts racing, pulling us forward, keeping us trapped in a world of noise. We are told that movement is life. That to be still is to waste time, to fall behind, to disappear. But what if stillness is the key to everything? Science has shown us that stillness, true stillness, rewires the brain. Meditation reshapes neural pathways, calms the nervous system, unlocks states of clarity and insight. But the ancient ones knew this long before science. The mystics, the monks, the sages who sat in silence for days, weeks, years. They understood what the modern world has forgotten. Stillness is not the absence of life. It is the presence of something deeper. In the quiet, something happens. The restless mind begins to slow. The endless stream of thoughts begins to settle, like dust floating down in water. And then, if you listen close. Not a voice. Not a sound. But a knowing. This is the moment when the ego begins to dissolve. The ego, the voice that clings to identity, that seeks control, that fears the unknown. It is loud in the noise, but powerless in the silence. Because silence reveals what was always there. Higher consciousness is not something you find. It is something you return to. Like the sky behind the clouds. Like the ocean beneath the waves. It was never gone. Only hidden. Everything you seek, peace, clarity, truth, it is already within you. It always has been. But to hear it, you must be willing to be still. Be still. And remember. Awakening is not a destination. It is a way of being. There is no final moment of enlightenment, no mountaintop where everything is complete. Awakening is not something you achieve, it is something you live, moment by moment, breath by breath. It is the art of remembering, again and again. The world will pull you back into its noise. The mind will try to return to its old patterns. But the path is not about perfection. It is about presence. So how do you walk this path? How do you carry awakening into the life you live every day? You practice awareness, not just in stillness, but in motion. Not just in meditation, but in conversation. Not just in solitude, but in love, in work, in the simplest moments of your life. When you speak, speak with intention. When you listen, listen with your whole being. When you move through the world, do so with presence, with reverence, with the quiet knowing that you are part of something vast, something infinite. Awakening is found in the way you treat others. In your patience, in your compassion, in the space you create for others to be seen, heard, and understood. It is in the way you meet life, not as something to conquer, but as something to experience fully. And when you forget, as you inevitably will, simply return. To the breath. To the moment. To yourself. Again and again. Because walking the path, is the path. In the end, you are not what the world told you to be. You are what remains when all else fades. Not the name you were given. Not the roles you played. Not the weight of expectations you once carried. You are the stillness beneath the storm. The presence behind the thoughts. The awareness that has been watching, always. The journey was never about becoming someone new. It was about remembering who you've always been. And now, you stand at the threshold of something greater. Embrace the silence. Not as emptiness, but as space, space for truth, space for wisdom, space for something deeper to emerge. Trust the journey. Even when the path is unclear, even when the road bends into the unknown. Because the path was never outside of you. It was always within. Step forward now, not as who the world shaped you to be, but as who you truly are. Awake. Whole. Infinite.